Hey, Chuck here. You can see I've got my bike geared up. That's because it's time for more motocamping. So it's Sunday, November 28th, and it's a little late in the year to be camping, a little chilly. So my idea for this trip this weekend was to go south of Sedona, get out of the altitude. We're up at 4,500 feet above sea level, and go down into the lower altitudes and hopefully the higher temperatures. Maybe 100 miles south, a couple hundred miles south. But I started looking at the National Forest campsites that are available, and all the parks and forest areas for camping have been closed for the season. The ones that are only open on like Friday and Saturday nights. And today is Sunday. I want to go down tonight and come back tomorrow on Monday. So not much available to me. Well, I found this website, which I didn't know existed, called hipcamp.com. And what they do is people on that site rent out their property. They have maybe a few acres and they rent it out to campers. So I found a campsite that's actually in the city of Phoenix, which is a big city. And it's on a 57-acre citrus farm that's in the city limits. So apparently they have a bunch of fruit trees, and I just pitched my tent among the fruit trees. So that sounds great. I signed up for that. So I'm gonna go down there and check that out, bring you with me, and we'll discover it together. Now, me being me, I'm going to take the back roads. I'm gonna stay off the main highway. So it's gonna take longer to get there and be more scenic. And a lot of these roads in between Sedona and Phoenix, I've never been on. So we're gonna discover those together. So it's about 11 a.m. I've taught all my morning yoga classes for the day, so I'm wide open for today and tomorrow. Let's take a quick look at what I've packed, and then we'll gas up and get out of here. This is just an overnight trip, so here's what I'm packing. Inside my Saddleman Deluxe tail bag, I have my tent, ground cloth, and rain fly, along with my sleeping bag and some stuff to cook with. In my top bag, I have snacks, toiletries, 3 liters of water, and a change of clothes. I also have some camp shoes. These are actually water shoes I bought this summer, but they're lightweight and they're comfy, so I use them to get out of my riding boots at the campsite. On top of everything, held in place by my stretchy gear net, is my camp chair. I throw the sleeping mat on the front of my bike with a couple of straps. I would put it on the back, but honestly, I just think it looks old school and badass on the front of my bike. In my tank bag, I have a 1-liter bottle of water that I drink as I go, my bug towel for my face shield and windscreen, cables for all of my electronics, and all my bike paperwork in case I get pulled over. If you're interested in checking out any of this gear that I'm using on my Meteor 350, the links are below in the description. So let's gas up and head down to Phoenix. I left Sedona going southwest on Highway 89A. Then, to cut southeast, I drove down Page Springs Road. A really beautiful drive with lots of gentle flatland turns and great desert countryside scenery. It's a smaller road, usually down to 35 miles an hour, and I've never seen it very busy. Down here you'll find a couple of vineyards and bed and breakfast places. Now, I haven't eaten since yesterday, so I stopped in Cornville for a burger. If you're in the area and you're into burgers, eat at G's Burgers. Great food, friendly people. Back out on the road, you have to sneak through a town called Cottonwood to hang a left on 260. That allows me to roll right over Highway 17 and stay on the smaller roads. Once we get away from the highway, the desert opens up and we have a nice quiet road. See those mountains in the distance? We're going to go up and through those. You can feel yourself slowly raising in elevation as we head into those hilly roads. First, you start to see a little more vegetation, and then the bushes turn into trees. And suddenly, you're in a forest. This area is actually called Tonto National Forest, so lots of camping and fishing up here. You'll find yourself going through a couple of small towns, and the elevation up here is about 5,500 feet, so a little over a mile above sea level, and you really feel the air getting cooler as you go. You go down through a town called Payson here, which is a pretty good-sized little town. If you need to get anything for your bike or stop for any reason, this is a good place to do it. And as you start to come down in elevation, you notice the trees getting smaller, as the landscape gradually turns back into an open desert. The long stretch of road between Payson and Phoenix is really a pretty crappy road. Potholes, torn up sections, grooves and ruts, really beautiful landscape, but a bad road for bikes. The closer you get to Phoenix, the more you see the iconic saguaro cactuses. As I come into Phoenix, the highway gets wide and things get busy again. It's a pretty good-sized town, 1.7 million people. I'm entering Phoenix from the northeast side, which means I have to drive through the center of town to get to South Central, where the urban campsite is. At this point, I've gone 160 miles, and it's about 3 p.m., and I'm looking to get to the campsite before it gets dark. And I noticed that living in a small town like Sedona, I'm no longer used to big city traffic. Giant intersections and unpredictable drivers, I really have to keep my wits about me. But I finally found the quiet little road in South Phoenix that led right to the citrus farm where my campsite was. Good morning, Chuck here. We're in my tent, my 30-year-old tent, hanging in there like a champ. So it's coffee time. This is my big old clunky gear that I have. I don't have any super small, lightweight, really cool moto camping gear yet. So we're dealing with all my old stuff from my car camping days. We're gonna make some coffee. So I had a really good ride down, a beautiful ride. I left Sedona about 11:30 and I got here about 4. A little longer ride than I had expected. I did stop for lunch. I stopped a couple times for gas. I stopped a couple times to just walk around and check out the scenery. When I camp, I have instant coffee mixed with sugar. I'm always amazed at how Arizona has such a varied landscape. You've got this really deserty kind of cactuses and sand, and then all of a sudden you're in the pine trees and it feels like you're in Colorado. So you've just got this really nice variety. As you can see on the map, I went from Sedona to a town called Pine. A great, beautiful, twisty, up and down kind of ride. I would totally recommend that stretch. Once you get up in the trees, there's a lot of crazy drivers. It's like people think, oh, there's no cops up here, let's drive like idiots. And they're going 20 miles over the speed limit, they're ripping around these turns. So on your motorcycle, you have to be really aware who's coming around the corners. Now from Payson on down to Phoenix, it's a beautiful desert ride. And I was doing it in the late afternoon, so almost sunset. Really nice, really beautiful. Lots of amazing views, lots of mountains, lots of desert landscape. But the road itself was terrible. It was full of potholes and divots and grooves in the road that when you hit them, it makes your tire kind of wiggle. And I had some jolts of adrenaline while I was going 65 miles an hour, and I thought I was going to dump the bike. You can't just cruise and enjoy the scenery because you're constantly looking at the road to see what the next obstacle is going to be that you have to navigate at 65 miles an hour to not dump your bike. So after I get up, I'm going to figure out another route home. I have all day to get there, so it should be an interesting ride. Overall, this is a nice little urban campsite. I have an entire line of lime trees behind the tent here, and nobody else is here. I've got the whole place to myself. I can hear a little bit of traffic here, but it's not bad. You have to really be quiet to kind of hear the traffic, and I slept just fine. This is the time of day when I get on my computer and edit video and do some writing. I'm working on my next book. So I'm gonna pull out my laptop and get some work done, y'all. And I will check in with you later. Yeah. All right, it's time to go home. I'm gonna head north to Sedona. I'm gonna try to go west of I-17 instead of east of I-17. So we're looking at probably Highway 60, going up out of Phoenix, heading up to Wickenburg. And then from Wickenburg, I'm gonna try to find that little highway, whatever that is, that goes up to Congress and Yarnell and Peoples Valley, whatever that is. I guess we'll find out what that is. I've never been on this road before, in a car or on a bike. But I know that 89 goes up to Prescott, and it looks here like it goes through some really twisty mountain passes, so that's gonna be interesting. Don't know how long it's gonna take to get home, but once I get to Prescott, I just get on 89A, and that's a beautiful drive through some incredible mountain passes to Jerome. And from there, it's just down to Cottonwood and over to Sedona. So I have no idea how long this is gonna take me. It's 9:30 in the morning right now. We'll see if I can get home before dark. Let's go see where this route takes us. And as I happily left the busyness of the big city behind me, I once again found my quiet road through the open desert. My first stop was a little town called Wickenburg for a late breakfast at 11:40 a.m. It's a little town with a lot of fast food places. I saw one restaurant that said, "Tasty," and I saw a couple of bikes parked there, so I pulled in to talk to some other traveling bikers. But it turns out they weren't very friendly, and the food wasn't really tasty, so I left my camera in my bag, ate quickly, and just got out of there. This truck was carrying a super wide load, and this state trooper was giving him some kind of escort from behind. Either that or he was trying to pull the guy over and he just couldn't see him. And I was going that way, so I just rode behind him for a minute. It always feels a little strange to be near a cop when his lights are on, even if you're riding behind him. I see this mountain range in front of me, getting closer and closer, and it becomes obvious that those twisty turns I saw on the map are right ahead of me in those mountains. The elevation gain was pretty steep, and the views were amazing. So I pulled over to get a good shot. I wanted to pick a spot and kind of update you on the trip back. Coming from Phoenix up to Wickenburg is really wonderful. Nice smooth roads, a little bump here and there, but beautiful scenery. Lots of places to stop, lots of like restaurants, and there's lots of places to pull over and check out. Getting up into the switchbacks that are going to lead to this mountain pass up towards Yarnell. Amazing view here, obviously. The video just isn't going to do it justice. It's just, I don't know, 20, 30 miles away or more. And I'm not done yet. I'll pull over again if I find something better than this. So, yeah, onward and upward. And as I entered Peoples Valley, which seemed to just be another little town, I stopped to refill my water. Back out on the road, once again, I see more mountains approaching. I realize that I'm in for more twisty mountain roads. These mountain passes are such a nice surprise when you find them. Through the desert, you get these long, straight stretches of road, accentuated by these wonderful half-hour breaks of solid twisting turns. And suddenly, once again, you're surrounded by pine trees as you gently ease into the town of Prescott. You wouldn't know it from the way I'm coming into town here, but Prescott and the surrounding towns have about 100,000 people in the area. A great place to stop for lunch and poke around in the historic Old Town area. Taking a break at a gas station here and a convenience store. 89A northbound is amazing. It is so amazing. It is a motorcycler's road. The twisties, the hills, the views. I'm never going down to Phoenix from Sedona another way again. That is absolutely the way to go. after I have this sandwich and some coffee and stretch my legs a little bit, I'm going to head up to toward Jerome. Between here and there, I have another half hour of twisty roads and mountain passes to go. So it's going to be just a fun rest of the day. After yet another amazing mountain pass, you come out overlooking the valley to the east. Sedona is about an hour in that direction. Then you realize you're in this little town called Jerome. Famous for being an old, haunted mining town, the entire thing is built on this giant cliff with amazing views. This town has awesome character. Definitely a place to stop for lunch and poke around in some of the shops. All right, so we're in Jerome, and I'm gonna stop and see my buddy Angie, who has an awesome candle shop here. Let's do this. Let's go in and surprise Angie. This is a great place to stop coming through Jerome. Her shop, she's amazing. She's an amazing artist. So let's stop in and see what she's up to. We're gonna surprise her. Angie!
Hey, Chuck!
What are you doing, lady?
What's happening, Chuck?
I'm just
Whoa.
passing through town.
Oh, that's excellent!
And I thought I'd come and see you. Let me drop my stuff
yay.
here.
Cool.
And give you a hug and...
Well, it sounds like you're on a... Well, it looks like you're on a ride. Good
Yay!
for you! Woohoo!
This is Angie.
Hi.
She's awesome. All right. So she's got this awesome candle shop, and we're gonna take a look at it. It's Blazing Owl.
Oh yes, the Blazing Owl.
And we're gonna take a quick look at it before we head on out of town. Angie, what's up?
Making some candles. They start blank, you know, and that's my dipping tank over there where I do all the layers, right? I dip hot layers of wax, carve them out while they're warm.
Cool.
Lately, I've been keeping up with a lot of Christmas wish lists. Kind of like a little elf, I always say this time of year, you know. And skulls, of course, have been really popular here in Jerome. This is one I made yesterday. Her name is Sunny.
Nice.
What goes on, you're burning the wick, and then the colors get translucent.
Yeah.
So that's how she's gonna light up in the dark.
And that's Sunny.
Yeah, that's Sunny. And then, you know, every single candle has its own type of effect.
Nice.
So
you have these lights up and people come in and check out what the candle's gonna look like when it's
yep,
burning.
exactly.
Beautiful.
And then, of course, you know, when you get them home, you can always reuse them with replacement candles.
That's
like
right,
the
they
tea lights.
burn down like a couple
Yep.
inches and you drop a tea light.
Exactly.
Okay.
Landscape, two-tone. And how about an owl? Hoo-hoo. And so for the wood burning, a lot of these pieces where I'm doing like the multi-medium, like the pyrography,
Beautiful.
burn wood, and then a little bit of watercolor, people have been digging on it. And fortunately, I have a healthy fascination with the desert to keep making the art. And
Nice. Beautiful. Well, I came by to actually also pick up the candle you're making for my friend in Australia.
yeah, the music notes.
And you're gonna make that. Yeah, I think you have it ready and you're gonna make it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. The acrylic glaze actually is formulated to stick to wax, so it kind of adheres to it like shrink wrap, which is really interesting.
Nice.
And then
let's see
remember
the
those
color.
notes, change
Yeah,
colors.
sunset. Beautiful. She's gonna love this.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Chrissy, this is
Yay.
for you. Chrissy, who's watching in Queensland, Australia.
Oh,
She's
yeah?
on her hubby farm.
How you going?
Yeah.
That's what they say in Australia. I've been there. I know, right?
So that's for you, Chrissy. That's gonna be, I'm gonna mail that to you.
Enjoy it.
All right.
I heard you're a flutist.
Angie, it was great catching up with you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Chuck, for stopping by.
And thanks for the candle.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
we will, one more hug. Ooh, thank you.
See you next time. Bye. Have a wonderful ride home.
And as the rocks and dirt around the highway start turning into a beautiful rusty red, you know you're coming closer to Sedona. So, all in all, a really fun trip, total of 400 miles, 644 kilometers, and a great campsite down in the city of Phoenix at Pinnacle Farms. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.